Hello, everyone. My name is Nikita, and I'm going to be talking about on-chain reputation and how we can use on-chain reputation in crypto to drive the mass adoption of the industry. So before I talk about that, I'd like to introduce myself first. So my background in crypto is so previously worked in a crypto hedge fund, and several months ago I founded Phytia, with my twin brother, ex-McKinsey data scientist, with the goal of improving general kind of quality standards within the crypto content creator space. And the way we do it, and I'm going to explain it later, is essentially through on-chain reputation. So before we talk about on-chain reputation, I think it makes sense to start from kind of first principles and discuss what reputation is in the first place and what its role in society is. So reputation is kind of really difficult to define, but the way I think about it is a sort of social currency, a function that maps, that essentially defines your prominence, status within a society, within a group of people. And so if we think about it historically, reputation has always played a sort of major role in the way our societies function. So for example, there's this great book by David Graeber called Debt, The First 5,000 Years, where he talks about, where he makes the case for the first form of money being credit. And credit is obviously built on trust and reputation. So even if we look several thousand years back, reputation was, a fundamentally important concept to the functioning of our society. And now, with the sort of rise of globalization, it is becoming even more and more important. So now you can make the case that, the purpose of crypto and blockchain is to sort of minimize trust. But what I argue here essentially is that in order to actually achieve the mass adoption of crypto, we cannot remove trust completely. We just have to kind of manage it through reputation. And there was this very kind of excellent point made at the marketing panel that, because of the inherent complexity of blockchain technology, we need, good marketers to help users to onboard users. The case I make here is that we actually need people who understand crypto in the first place, rather than marketers to help with the onboarding. So now now sort of another angle to think about, another way to think about reputation is the dichotomy between local and global reputation. What this basically means, local reputation is something that is when you essentially determine someone's reputation by personally engaging with them. Whereas global reputation is a kind of more uniform way of assigning reputation. And this is what I'm going to be talking about, because I think it's actually global reputation that is key to mass adoption, because it actually scales. Local reputation doesn't really scale because you have to interact. Will have to have interacted with everyone to actually to determine their reputation and how you should engage with them. So now we come to discuss reputation systems. So as I mentioned, reputation is essentially a function that kind of determines your prominence within society. But reputation systems are basically algorithms that define the way reputation is computed. So and essentially we have kind of two basic ways of one basic way to characterize reputation systems. So on the one hand, we have Web 0 to Web 2 reputation systems, which is generally sort of centralized, quite siloed, and rely on essentially kind of major actors determining people's reputation. So you can think of examples like credit scoring, even sort of government agencies like the SEC that kind of decides whether something is legit basically or something is not legit, whether something should be allowed on the financial market or not. And then we sort of have the opposite of that is sort of Web3 reputation systems, which are, well, they're not necessarily, they're decentralized, but not in the sense that there is like not one major actor determining someone's reputation, but they are decentralized in the sense that they're sort of more transparent. They use more transparent algorithm to compute reputation. They are usually kind of more careful with your data, so they, you know, all the ones I mentioned, like Polygon ID, Spruce ID, they tend to utilize some kind of privacy-preserving technology to when they use your data to compute reputation. And so these kind of systems, they tend to be more interoperable and less siloed. And I think they have they will be key to mass adoption. So now that we've covered the kind of the basics, the first principles of what reputation is, what reputation systems are, I'd like to focus your attention on kind of where we are at the moment. So where we are at the moment is kind of an inflection point. So we are sort of like where the internet was in the sort of late, maybe 1990s, early 2000s. So we're about to, I think we're about to see exponential growth, but there are kind of few key issues with that, because as sort of the industry grows, even, and you know, a lot of stuff is being built even during the bear. The industry is also attracting increasing scrutiny from kind of governments, nation states, primarily due to its inability to self-regulate, to kind of regulate out the bad elements, and the cost incurred, and the cost that this leads for the users. What is to be done with that? So sort of one way of solving this problem, this increased scrutiny problem, is to just, you know, think more about how we can cooperate with governments to, you know, to increase transparency within the ecosystem and to root out the bad actors. I think great work is being done by the likes of Coinbase and Paradigm in that regard. But I think we should also focus on actually kind of self-regulation, and the self-regulation bit, and to think about how we can improve the kind of moral and quality standards within the ecosystem itself, just outside of actually cooperating with government entities. And this is where on-chain reputation is key. And so what we kind of decided to focus at Phytia is the figure of the content creator. And my claim is that crypto content creators, and I'm going to explain in a second who they are kind of like the key figure, the key space that needs on-chain reputation. So why is that the case? Well, first of all, I'll explain who they are. So who they are. These are generally people who write about crypto, who predict crypto trends, who sort of introduce users to new projects. So they're essentially like the middlemen between your user base, which includes both potential users and, you know, existing users, blockchain users, and the kind of the industry. So they communicated all the important industry developments to the user base. And this is where the problem of trust comes, because yes, they are very important, but unfortunately, the quality moral standards in the crypto content creator space are very, very low. And what this leads to, essentially, it leads to users being scammed, users being rugged, and eventually, what this leads to is to you know, the general public being kind of turned against the industry. And this has kind of wider implications for the industry, because if the public is against the industry, it's just easier for governments and nation states to overregulate, right? Because with public support. And so in order to kind of fix this, we need the reputation standard. We need to somehow introduce quality control in the content creator space to ensure that the people who play this very important middleman role, who communicate with the general public, are actually qualified to do that, actually know something about the industry that they claim to represent. And now I'd like to focus on like how does this sort of, how do we do that actually? And so, again, I'd like to think about this from first principles. And here are sort of the 4 key points that our reputation system, on-chain reputation system should have to help self-regulate the crypto content creator space. So first of all, it should be quite convenient to the content creator. So it shouldn't introduce the content creator, the crypto content creator, to sort of something that he's not used to. So the kind of system that we should have, it should kind of be essentially similar to day-to-day engagements of the content creator. And this point kind of relates to suitability as well. It should also be very transparent. And this sort of, again, goes back to the broader difference between Web3 and Web2 reputation systems, that we actually need transparency to, and this is one of the key advantages of Web3 reputation systems. And the last point, perhaps it's not the most kind of common of wordings, but I call it blank slateism. So some of the kind of reputation systems out there, what they do is essentially they collect some transaction history, some kind of on-chain history, and compute your reputation score. I believe this is fundamentally wrong for a number of reasons. First of all, is that they're not entirely transparent. So what kind of algorithm they actually use to compute reputation. And second of all is because they kind of don't allow kind of new content creators to show what they can do. And so we need this kind of blank slate platform where we essentially level the playing field and allow everyone to engage starting from the same level. And so the system that we arrived at, and I'm conscious that I'm running out of time, but the system we arrived at is prediction markets. So prediction markets are basically a type of markets that allow people to bet on outcomes of events. And if you think about it, this is kind of similar to what content creators are doing on a daily basis. They're kind of making directional statements about projects, coins, or market trends, and you can sort of package that into a prediction market format. But sort of the and especially why prediction markets are good, on-chain prediction markets are good, is that we can sort of pair them with other blockchain primitives like soulbound tokens to sort of amplify the experience and actually introduce the sort of reputation bit to our system. And so this is sort of roughly how it works. So we have the user, the content creator, then we have prediction markets, where people essentially predict crypto trends. The markets the correct outcomes get determined by various oracles, chaining oracles, Claris Quartz, which we've partnered with. And in return for correct predictions, users essentially receive soulbound reputation tokens, which they can integrate into their social media profiles, like Lens or Twitter. And that is a very, very powerful signal to potential users, potential followers, or existing followers that they actually know what they're talking about. And so that we have this technical detail, which I don't think we have time to go into. And this is basically what I've been talking about. So we have this tokens that they receive for correct predictions, and these tokens are soulbound tokens. They actually tokens inside an NFT contract, which they can then be integrated into the social media profiles. And sort of one of the key things we also do is that we collect analytics on content creators' predictions and use them as a way of use these analytics to help retail investors make decisions, who to follow, who to unfollow based on, how well they predict certain trends in certain crypto markets. And that's basically it. So we don't have time to talk about the expert marketplace, but sort of essentially, I'm going to briefly cover it. Essentially, what we're doing eventually, we eventually want to build an expert marketplace on top of our reputation system, where we connect Web3 projects and retail investors to quality crypto content creators. And sort of where we are at the moment, so we're launching a demo in about a month or so. You can follow me on Twitter and Medium. My Twitter is, sorry. Yes, this is the company Twitter, but you can also follow me on Twitter. Here, Pneumatic Oracle. Okay, this is pretty much it. Does anyone have any questions? Yes?
I'm curious to understand what's your perspective on building on-chain reputation and the fact that many people can build it, but like lose access to their wallet at some point.
I mean, I don't think that's something we can fix from the sort of on-chain reputation side. There is obviously account abstraction and a lot of things being done in terms of social recovery. But yeah, sort of, I guess there is no sort of easy, simple answer to that. But I think account abstraction kind of solves that issue. The key thing with the on-chain reputation is to actually make sure that the sort of the tokens or reputation you receive is non-transferable. And yes, so because if it's transferable, then it kind of defeats the purpose of you gaining reputation in the first place. Yeah.
Thank you.